You're watching TAG TV. You're watching TAG TV.
Hello viewers, I'm your host Chandrakala Chaudhary with another episode of South Asia Focus. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli made an official visit to India to strengthen bilateral ties. Being close neighbours, the two countries are working on to strengthen border checkposts and streamline the trade and development between them. A report.
On his arrival in New Delhi, Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli received a warm welcome by the Indian Home Minister Rajnath Singh. Oli, who made his first foreign visit since assuming office in February this year, met his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi, held talks to strengthen the partnership between the two countries. Pacts related to agriculture, research and development, education and training, exploring the possibility of inland water navigation up to Indian ports from Nepal and expansion of Indian rail up to Kathmandu from the country's border have been agreed by both sides. The Nepal Prime Minister also took up various issues including the early execution of India-funded projects in Nepal, implementation of the Mahakali Treaty and the construction of integrated checkposts.
India and Nepal are close partners and enjoy similar culture and religion. To give us more insights into the visit of Nepalese Prime Minister to India, we are now joined by Kosh Raj Koirala, a senior journalist and a political analyst from Kathmandu. Well, Mr. Koirala, what is the significance of Nepal PM's visit to India?
I think it has a big significance to both the countries. And Nepal, during the premiership of KP Oli Sharma, during his previous stint as Prime Minister, didn't have that good relationship with India. And there are also some kind of apprehension among Indian policymakers and other thinkers that the new government may not be protecting India's legitimate interest in Nepal. So, put that in context, this visit holds really big significance, and in my view the visit of Prime Minister Oli is aimed to allay those kind of concerns that India may have, and also to assure India that Nepal is committed to protect India's legitimate interest in Nepal. And during his briefing to the Parliament on Tuesday, the Prime Minister Oli said that Nepal will not allow its territory to be used against any of its neighbor. So since we have more than 1880 kilometer long open border, there are cases of infiltration of some inimical elements that harm the interest of both the countries, some terrorist element as well. So the Prime Minister has clearly said that Nepal wants to have a good relation with both the neighbors, and it won't allow its territory to be used against any of its neighbor. And that clearly shows that Prime Minister Oli is keen to assure India that its legitimate interest in Nepal will be protected.
Do you think the visit can prove to be a counter to the increasing Beijing influence in Nepal?
I think yes, and this is the first foreign visit of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli after assuming his office last month. And there is a tradition of each new Prime Minister in Nepal to make his first foreign trip to India. So in that sense, it appears that although KP Oli is said to be closer to China, the Prime Minister Oli has, through this visit, has given a message that it's not inclined to, or it is not tilted to any of his neighbor. Rather, it wants to maintain good relationship with both the neighbors, and the fact that he's visiting India as his first foreign visit is that reflects his desire to maintain balanced relation. I had heard that even China had extended invitation to Prime Minister Oli. So Oli did not want to defy that tradition that exists in Nepal, like especially in case of new Prime Minister making first foreign visit to India. So he's going to India and probably he'll be visiting China as well in coming months. So it shows that he is very much keen to maintain balanced relations with both India and China. And even in his statements, he has said that we want to maintain close, cordial relation with both India and China. So through his action, I think he's proving that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Koirala. Moving on, people in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir continue to protest against the Pakistan Army and the government forcing the latter to stop cross-border firing. The Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front and other political parties jointly held a protest rally. However, the police began charged and opened fire at the protesters. A report.
People in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir continue to protest against the Pakistan Army and the government, forcing the latter to stop cross-border firing. The Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, JKLF, and other political parties jointly held a protest rally from Tetri Mode to Madarpur. The police carried out a baton charge and opened fire on the protesters. In retaliation, locals attacked army posts and set them on fire. In Muzaffarabad, inhabitants carried out a protest against police and army brutality.
पाकिस्तान की खुफिया अदारे और एजेंसियां नकियाल के मकाम पर सीज फायर लाइन के ऊपर जो एक्शन कमेटी बैठी हुई है उसको कहा जा रहा है कि आप हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ एहतजाज न करें, उसको कहा जा रहा है कि आप कंट्रोल लाइन पर गोलाबारी के खिलाफ एहतजाज न करें और उन पर दबाव डाला जा रहा है। इन्हीं दबाव के नतीजे में पुलिस ने वहाँ लाठी चार्ज किया और लोगों को जख्मी किया। बदकिस्मती ये है और जुल्म और सितम की इंतहा ये है कि जब मदारपुर और इस सेक्टर के अंदर तेतरी नोट सेक्टर के अंदर महलों के अंदर शहरियों को इंसानी ढाल के तौर पर इस्तेमाल किया जाता है और वहाँ पर गनें नस्ब की जाती हैं, उन गनों से फायर किया जाता है उस पार और उस पार से जवाबी फायर आता है महलों के अंदर। तो मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि जो 70 साल से ये लोग कह रहे हैं कि हम आपको दफा करके यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, तो दफा जाके इंसानी आबादी के अंदर बैठने की क्या तुक बनती है, वहाँ पे बैठने की क्या तुक बनती है कि आप जानबूझ के चाहते हैं कि लोग मरें, कंट्रोल लाइन पे मरें और आपको प्रोपेगेंडे का मौका मिले। ये इंतहाई बदकिस्मती है और हम इस जुल्म और जबर की पुरजोर मजम्मत करते हैं। हम ये समझते हैं कि पूरे आज़ाद कश्मीर के नेशनलिस्ट, पूरे आज़ाद कश्मीर की कौम का सूरत है एक पेज पे है, वो पाकिस्तान के और आज़ाद कश्मीर हुकूमत के इस जुल्म और सितम के खिलाफ सरापा एहतजाज है।
The protesters blamed the federal government and Prime Minister of POK, Raja Farooq Haider, for ceasefire violations and deliberately provoking India for cross-firing. They also blamed the Pakistan Army for using civilians as human shields.
आप बताएं कि एक इंच रकबा भी इंडिया से ले सकी पाकिस्तानी फौज नहीं ले सकी है और आइंदा भी ये नहीं ले सकेगी। और फिर हमें ये कहा जाता है कि भाई इंडिया ने तो वहाँ पे गोलाबारी नहीं की। फारूक हैदर को इस बात की तकलीफ है कि इंडिया उस मार्ग पर फायरिंग करता ताकि इन्हें प्रोपेगेंडा का मौका मिलता। अफसोस है आपकी सोच पर और आपकी जो है ना इस अप्रोच पर, सैनी अप्रोच पर कि आप जो है ना यहाँ लोगों को मरवा कर उनकी लाशों पर सियासत करना चाहते हैं।
On March 16, similar protests were held in the Poonch area of POK, in which 2 political activists were killed in police firing and many were seriously injured. The people in POK are fed up with Pakistan's brutalities as they remain victims of atrocities by army and terrorists.
Police Gardi! Police Gardi! Lathi Goli! Lathi Goli!
People in the region have been facing problems for the past 70 years. To know more about the prevailing situation, my colleague Ravi Khandelwal spoke to Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri, the chairman of United Kashmir People's National Party.
Shaukat sir, if we talk about the situation, the human rights situation in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, is not very good. So what is the actual situation there?
First of all, I would ask you, look, in Pakistan, where there is some kind of civil institutions like judiciary, like there are many human rights organizations operating there. There is one parliament that is constitutionally empowered to amend the constitution. There is a senate. We are living under Pakistani periphery. So our constitution, which was imposed by Pakistan, that is called the Interim Constitution 1974. It is only an act and it was imposed by the Law Ministry of Pakistan. So the Legislative Assembly of Azad Kashmir has no power to amend or to add anything which is betterment of the Azad Kashmir people.
Pakistan always raised the issue of Kashmir on international platforms, but they hardly mention anything about Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. So do you believe that there is some kind of conspiracy that Pakistan plays?
No, Pakistan actually occupied whole state of Jammu Kashmir. Through powers, through different tools, through different means, they want that Kashmir should be part of Pakistan. So Pakistan is not stupid to say something regarding Gilgit-Baltistan or that area which is under the illegal occupation of Pakistan. Pakistan never ever say anything regarding the Baloch situation or Sindh situation or Pashtun, where Pakistan used heavy weapons, air force and the tank against the common people. And there is no single voice to ask Pakistan for the protection of those areas where Pakistani Air Force and Pakistan Army launch operations by the name of the terrorists.
Now we move to Afghanistan, where the security forces attacked the insurgent-held northern region of Kunduz, killing more than 18 Taliban commanders. While the government has hailed the move, political analysts believe that the attack could prove to be a hurdle in bringing the Taliban to the table for peace talks. A report.
An Afghan forces airstrike on a suspected Taliban gathering in the northern province of Kunduz caused dozens of casualties, including many civilians. The government later said the operation came in the line with its commitment to eradicate all forms of extremism from its territory. The US-backed security forces have ramped up their operations in the hinterlands under Taliban control.
که 18 نفر از قماندانان دست اول یزیا که اکثر یزیاها خارجی ها بودند در اینجا کشته شدند و 12 نفر یزیاها زخمی شدند. اینها همه قماندانانی بودند که در منطقه به حیث کسایی که شورای شمال شرق افغانستان را تشکیل میدادند و همیشه دولت جمهوری اسلامی افغانستان را در ولایتی که ما قبلا نامش گرفتیم مورد تهدید و چالش های قرار میدادند.
While the government has been hailing the airstrikes as a shot in the arm in its fight against the resurgent Taliban, international media questioned the attack that also caused civilian casualties. The Taliban said in a statement that the attack was targeted at an Islamic school where a ceremony was held. Most victims, according to them, were young children who were attending a ceremony called Dastar Bandi in a local madrasa which celebrates young men completing the memorization of the Quran. However, the Afghan Defense Ministry rejected the allegations and said Taliban militants shot at the helicopters of the Afghan Air Forces first and then at the civilians post the airstrike.
که ما در اونجا توسط راکت تیارات MD-530 بالای رهبری ازیا عملیات را اجرا کردیم ولی چطور اینا با مرمی‌های پیاده زخمی شدند.
The United Nations assistance missions in Afghanistan said in a statement that investigation was underway into the attack. According to analysts, the attack will no doubt have a negative impact on the proposed peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban. They say pressure tactics to compel the Taliban to initiate dialogue have not succeeded in the past and will not succeed in future as well.
What makes this moment?
While the world was calling the peace offer to the Taliban as a major breakthrough in bringing an end to the years of war, the surge in the ground and air offensive against the insurgents is certainly going to have fallouts for Afghanistan. Moving on to Sri Lanka, where the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe survived a no-confidence motion in the parliament as the opposition failed to gather enough support on the floor of the House. A report.
In a 225-member parliament of Sri Lanka, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who also leads the United Nations Party, escaped a no-confidence motion after securing 122 votes against 76 secured by the opposition. The opposition had tried capitalizing a weak coalition after the reports of the rift among its members surfaced. It was enforced by the local election results in which the ruling coalition parties UNP and SLFP had fought the elections separately, however, had lost comprehensively to Rajapakse-backed parties. Although Wickremesinghe has found some respite after winning the motion, the political instability prevailing in the country and stirred by the opposition may damage its reform agenda. Opposition still feels that they have an edge over Prime Minister's party as it believes the rift between the coalition members of the government is not covering up soon.
මේ ඡන්දෙන් ඊටාම ප්‍රධාන ජයග්‍රහණ කීපයක් ගත්තා. පළවෙනි එක තමයි ආණ්ඩුවේ තුනෙන් දෙක නැති කළා 76ක ඡන්ද ප්‍රමාණයක් ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය තුල අපි ගත්තා. දෙවෙනි එක තමයි අග්‍රාමාත්‍යවරයාට ඇතුලේ තියෙන අර්බුදය ඉවර වෙලා නැහැ. ඔහු දීපු පොරොන්දු ඉටු කරන්න ඕන. ඒ පොරොන්දු ඉටු නොකරොත් නැවතත් ඒ අර්බුදය ඉස්මතු වෙන එක බලක්වන්න බෑ. තුන්වෙනි එක තමයි ජනාධිපතිවරයා යටතේ හිටපු ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය ඒකේ කණ්ඩායමක් ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය සමග එකට වැඩ කරන්න පාර්ලිමේන්තුව තුල තත්ත්වය නිර්මාණය කළා. මේවා අපට ලැබිච්ච ජයග්‍රහණ.
President Maithripala Sirisena's Sri Lanka Freedom Party was split over the vote, with only 16 of its 42 lawmakers who support the government voting for Prime Minister. Some 26 legislators, many from the SLFP, were absent.
ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය ජයග්‍රහණය කළා. බොහොම පැහැදිලිව. ඔය ජංගමතිවරයාගේ එක බේරගත්ත එයා. නමුත් අපිට අපි වශයෙන් අපි ගත්තොත් අද සියලු දෙනාම එකතු වෙලා ඡන්දෙ දුන්නා නම් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂේ මේකේ මේ රිසල්ට්ස් නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ. ඊට වඩා වෙනස්.
A ruling coalition member who supported the motion said Prime Minister had addressed the issue that created the rift amongst the members.
ඔව් අපි විශ්වාස භංගයක් ගේන්න ඕන කිව්වා ප්‍රතිසංවිධානය නොකරනවා නා ප්‍රතිසංවිධානය කරනවානේ. අපේ වෙන ප්‍රශ්න නෙවෙයි තියෙන්නේ අපිට තියෙන පක්ෂේ.
Wickremesinghe has faced criticism for failing to deliver on the economic growth, which slumped to a 16-year low of 3.1% last year, its worst since a recession in 2001. The rupee currency is hovering at a record low. The government is also under pressure as it tries to manage China's expanding infrastructure push in Sri Lanka, located near the key shipping lanes in the Indian Ocean.
The opposition also accused the government for failing to maintain the law and order situation that led to anti-Muslim riots and subsequent imposition of a state of emergency in the country. Moving on, Bangladesh is gearing up for general elections in December this year. The previous general elections, which took place in 2014, were boycotted by the main opposition party, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, led by three-time former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. However, there are growing concerns over Islamic forces gaining ground in the country to make a win in the elections. Take a look.
As Bangladesh gears up for the general elections to be held in December this year, the Islamic forces in the country have started gaining ground. The Khalida Zia-led Bangladesh Nationalist Party or BNP, in alliance with Jamaat-e-Islami and other Islamic fundamentalist groups, are making attempts to root out the Sheikh Hasina-led Awami League. Experts believe that the Jamaat-e-Islami has committed war crimes during the 1971 Liberation War and killed 3 million people in the name of Islam. Around 500,000 women were reportedly violated by the Pakistan Army and their collaborators.
The rise of Islamic militancy, terrorism in the name of Islam, that is being perpetrated by Jamaat-e-Islami, Hifazat-e-Islam and backed by BNP, one of the largest political party of Bangladesh. Because of BNP, this Jamaat-e-Islami and Hifazat-e-Islam as well as other, fundamentalist and extremist groups became so violent, and we have seen their violence starting from February 2013.
Experts sitting offshore are also concerned over the growing alliance of the BNP and Islamic fundamentalists, as they believe the perpetrators of 1971 are still stronger than pro-liberation forces.
The Jamaat-e-Islami ideology has formed the seedbed, the foundation for the emergence of extremist and terrorist groups in Bangladesh. If not for Jamaat-e-Islami, so many people would not have been radicalized. And we have seen the emergence of JMB, Jamiatul Mujahideen Bangladesh, Hujibi, Harakatul Jihadi Islami Bangladesh, a number of other groups.
The rise of Islamic forces in Bangladesh not only affects the common people in the country but also raises concern for the fragile neighborhood. BNP Jamaat-led coalition governments in the past had provided shelter, funds and training to secessionist insurgent groups of northeastern India. A BNP return to power would mean New Delhi facing a hostile government in Dhaka, as it would again allow anti-India groups to gain ground on Bangladesh soil.
Numerous reports of violence surfacing against the minorities are also said to have been fueled by radical Islamist groups present in the country. Moving on to India, where the state of Jammu and Kashmir celebrates the Tulip Festival in the season of the year. Thousands of visitors from India and around the world travel Srinagar every year just to see the unraveling of this beautiful phenomenon. Have a look. Thousands of visitors are thronging the Indira Gandhi Memorial Tulip Garden in Srinagar after it was thrown open to the public, marking the beginning of the new tourism season in the valley. Located in the foothills of the Jabarwan Hill in the summer capital of Srinagar and overlooking the famous Dal Lake, it is Asia's largest tulip garden, having about 12.5 lakh tulips of 50 varieties. Tulip Festival has now become an annual celebration that aims to showcase the range of flowers in the garden as a part of tourism efforts by the government of Jammu and Kashmir. It is organized during the onset of the spring season in Kashmir Valley. After witnessing a huge surge in the tourist inflow, the authorities decided to extend the festival length by a week.
अभी देख करके लग रहा है कि एग्जैक्टली जो कलर्स है बहुत ही सुंदर है, और ये एक ऐसी चीज़ है, हम लोगों ने बहुत जगह घूमा है, इंडिया में बहुत घूमा है, इंडिया के बाहर बहुत घूमा है, बट ऐसा कहीं देखने को नहीं मिला।
हम दुबई भी गया, अंडमान निकोबार भी गया और भी जगह गया, मगर श्रीनगर जैसा जगह और फूल वैरायटीज़ जो हैं वो बहुत अच्छी हैं। मैं ये समझता हूँ कि जो लोग अभी तक नहीं आए हैं उन्होंने मिस किया है।
The garden is built on a sloping ground in a terraced fashion consisting of 7 terraces. Apart from tulips, many other species of flowers have also been added this year. By April, tulips are usually in full bloom in and around Srinagar, lending an ethereal atmosphere to the valley. The average lifespan of the tulip flower is 3 to 4 weeks.
ये जो टुलिप गार्डन है हमारी इकोनॉमी के लिए, पर्टिकुलरली कश्मीर की इकोनॉमी के लिए एक यूनिक सेलिंग पॉइंट बना है। जो इसका पर्पस, बेसिक पर्पस जो था क्रिएशन का कि कश्मीर में जो टूरिज़्म परिपूर्ण हो। नॉर्मली यहाँ पे टूरिस्ट जो ऑनसेट जो टूरिस्ट फ्लो स्टार्ट होता था इन द मंथ ऑफ मई, अब आप देखेंगे बिकॉज ऑफ टुलिप गार्डन मार्च अप्रैल में काफ़ी फ्लो है टूरिस्ट का। दैट मीन्स
Earlier known as Siraj Bagh, the Indira Gandhi Memorial Tulip Garden was opened in 2008. The garden since then has witnessed several modifications brought in to enhance its beauty. This year, more green space has been created and several new fountains have been installed in the garden. A water channel could also be seen running through the terraces, adding to the beauty of the garden. The Valley of Kashmir, which has been dubbed by many as paradise on earth, is one of the favorite destinations of tourists across the globe. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Take care and goodbye.